So President Milei is a professor of economics in Argentina. So the Federal Reserve picked him out to become the president, along with the CIA of Argentina. And then the Federal Reserve through the Treasury Department of America and the Foreign Affairs Committees of Washington depegged parity powers of the Argentine currency with Moody's, and they toppled the Venezuelan currency, the Argentina currency, to give Argentina runaway inflation, to make it the poorest nation on earth because it has lithium. So they want to deprive the economy, the Federal Reserve, and the Treasury Department, and the Foreign Affairs Committee in the Senate of Washington. They wanted to give Argentina inferior depression with hyperinflation in order to put Milei, the professor of economics, to become an oligarch for the Federal Reserve as the president of Argentina, to dollarize Argentina, in the hopes that they can profit of the lithium triangle of South America and prevent China from moving in. So what they're doing, the Federal Reserve, is buying out all of South America like there's some private colonies with the American dollar. So what Milei plans to do when he steps down from the presidency, if he dollarizes Argentina, he's going to go to work for the Federal Reserve managing Argentina's bank and to enrich himself in the private sector, while the rest of Argentina is a plantation, if you will, of servitude, of serfdom for the Federal Reserve bankers, the private oligarchs of the Federal Reserve in America. So you got to understand, America controlling the world hegemonic currency controls Moody's, and it can devaluate nations' currencies and make it inferior with runaway inflation. So that's what they did to Argentina, and they installed Milei. He's a sellout. He's a corrupt professor of economics that was in bed with the Federal Reserve of New York board members. And he plans to dollarize Argentina and then step down, once it's dollarized, to be a banker and to enrich himself and line his pockets while he enslaved the population of Argentina to be private properties of the federal oligarch, private bankers of New York. So they're trying to do the same thing to Venezuela, give Venezuela runaway inflation for Exxon to take over and for the Federal Reserve to dollarize Venezuela. They want to dollarize with manifest destiny the whole of South America. So they have their attention, the Federal Reserve, the Foreign Affairs Committee, to dollarize Argentina and Venezuela. And they use and manipulate Moody's to devaluate your currencies and make it inferior to the point that y'all has super hyper runaway inflations, in the hopes that that civility will uprise, and that's when Milei stepped in for the Federal Reserve to give y'all dollarization because the population is desperate economically, but it's all a scheme to privatize South America for private banker oligarchs in New York. And it's all about Milei lining his pockets. He wants to step down and become a private banker and enrich himself while he enslaved the whole of Argentina. See, what's wrong with Milei's idea to dollarize Argentina is that the Argentinians don't have the citizens of Argentina don't have the right to vote for American Congress representatives or American senators or the American president. And at the end of the day, they are enslaved with a currency supply that control the lifeblood of their country. So it's basically enslavement, a colony without no rights. economically speaking. And so, you know what's wrong with this type of economical system is that you get taxed without representation. The citizens of Argentina will get taxed without representation because they don't, as citizens of Argentina, they can't vote for American congressmen or American senators or for an American president. Y'all basically enslave your country as a colony without no representation, and y'all get taxed as a colony with no form of representation. Now, an economy to a country means everything. An economy controls how infrastructure is built, how people supply money to buy housing, to put food on the table. So money makes the world go round when it comes to the economy. But at the end of the day, if y'all don't control the money supply, then y'all don't control your democracy. Y'all don't control that y'all basically gets taxed and worked as serfdom without no representation to show for it. And basically, the Treasury Department of Washington will end up owning the sovereignty of Argentina. And Congress of Washington is the one that controls the purse strings to the Treasury Department of the Federal Reserve. So Malay is basically enslaving his people, his own countrymen and women, to enrich himself because he wants to line his pocket when he steps down from public office. If he dollarizes Argentina, he will want to be a banker with his ears to the pulse of the economy for the Federal Reserve in order for him to be rich as a banker. It's pure, it's madness to think about it. It disgusts me. It makes me nauseous. So it's a system that won't work because when you get taxed without representation, because you don't control the money supply and you don't control the country and all the activities of productivities that humans do in order to build societies, if you don't control that and you get taxed without representation, then you live in as a serfdom. And the lord of the manor is the oligarchs of the Federal Reserve. Yeah, going back to the medieval age in Europe. At least that's what the Argentinians are doing to themselves by dollarizing themselves. The bankers are lords of the manor of your land, and the citizens of Argentina are peasants of serfdom. So it doesn't make sense to dollarize your country and to be enslaved by private bankers of a country that doesn't belong to you. America doesn't belong to Argentina because Argentina citizens are not American citizens. They can't pick the politicians. They're not protected under the law. America's courts doesn't apply to Argentina. So the Federal Reserve can rape y'all. Like robber barons, they can rape y'all. And the courts of America won't be able to protect y'all because it doesn't apply in your country. The judicial system of America is not applicable to your country of Argentina. So there should be a revolution to get Milei out of office, to discard him as a charlatan, as a grift.